The Tower of London, a historic symbol of England, shrouded in mystery and eerie tales spanning over 1,000 years. Once a royal palace, a notorious prison, and the site of brutal executions, the tower is infamous for its chilling ghost stories. Anne Boleyn, the Lost Princess, and Archbishop Thomas Becket, do their spirits still haunt these ancient walls? Guards have reported ghostly figures, unseen footsteps, and strange apparitions lurking in the dark. Are these just legends, or is there truth behind the haunting? Join us as we uncover the dark history and spine-chilling secrets of the Tower of London in today's video. Story 1: The Forsaken Wife of Henry VIII. Among the many famous ghosts haunting the Tower of London, none are as terrifying and tragic as the spirit of Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. Once an ambitious, intelligent, and captivating woman, she ultimately became a victim of a politically motivated marriage. When Anne failed to produce a male heir, Henry VIII quickly sought to remove her. She was accused of treason, adultery, incest, and witchcraft, charges that many historians believe were entirely fabricated. On May 19, 1536, Anne was executed within Tower Green at the Tower of London. Unlike most executions carried out by axe, she was beheaded by a sword in the French style, a sign of the peculiar nature of her death. After the execution, her remains were buried in St. Peter ad Vincula Chapel within the Tower grounds. Since her death, Anne Boleyn has become one of the most frequently sighted ghosts in the Tower of London. Many guards and visitors have reported seeing a headless white figure wandering around Tower Green and near the chapel. One of the most well-known incidents occurred in 1864, when a soldier from the King's Royal Rifle Corps was found unconscious while on duty. Upon regaining consciousness, he recounted seeing a white figure emerge from the shadows of the king's house, now owned by King Charles III. He ordered the spirit to halt 3 times but received no response. In fear, he thrust his bayonet at the entity, but the blade passed through as if striking thin air. Overwhelmed with terror, he collapsed. 2 senior officers later testified that they too had witnessed the ghostly figure at the same moment, corroborating the soldier's account. Following an investigation, he was acquitted. Another chilling sighting occurred in 1933, when a guard saw a pale blue headless figure rise from the ground near the Bloody Tower, where many royal prisoners were once held. Attempting to stab it with his bayonet, he watched in shock as the apparition vanished before his eyes. It is not just the guards who have seen Anne Boleyn's ghost. Many visitors have also claimed to witness her spectral presence. One of the strangest stories happened in 1972, when a 9-year-old girl named Joan visited the tower with her family. As the tour guide mentioned Anne Boleyn, Joan whispered to her mother, "They didn't chop off her head with an axe, it was with a sword." Strangely, Joan had no knowledge of Tudor history, yet she accurately described Anne's execution, including the executioner removing his shoes and silently stepping behind her before striking. These eerie accounts have cemented Anne Boleyn's ghost as one of the most haunting and enduring mysteries of the Tower of London. Story 2: The Tragedy of the Two Princes. One of the most haunting stories of the Tower of London is the tragedy of the 2 princes, Edward V and his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York. They were placed in the tower in 1483 under the protection of their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, but later vanished without a trace. After King Edward IV died in April 1483, his eldest son, Edward IV, who was only 12 years old, was named his successor. However, the regency was entrusted to Richard, Duke of Gloucester. At first, Richard promised to protect his nephews, but the situation changed when Edward IV's coronation was delayed. On May 19, 1483, Edward V was moved to the Tower of London, which traditionally served as a royal residence before a king's coronation. On June 16th, his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, was also sent to the tower. From that point on, the 2 princes were seen less and less until they disappeared entirely by the summer of that year. Their disappearance led to numerous theories. Some believe that their uncle, Richard III, had them murdered to secure his claim to the throne. On June 22, 1483, a royal decree declared that the marriage of their parents, Edward IV and Elizabeth Woodville, was invalid, making the two princes illegitimate and ineligible to rule. Just weeks later, Richard took the throne and became King Richard III. Although no direct evidence proves that Richard III ordered their deaths, contemporary accounts suggest that Edward V feared for his life. The Italian historian Dominic Mancini wrote that Edward prayed daily, as though he knew death was approaching. In 1674, while demolishing a staircase in the White Tower, workers discovered the skeletal remains of two children, believed to be the lost princes. King Charles II ordered that the bones be reburied in Westminster Abbey, but no scientific analysis has ever been conducted to confirm their identities. Many witnesses have claimed to see the ghosts of the two princes in the Bloody Tower, dressed in white nightgowns and holding hands, before vanishing into the stone walls. In the 19th century, the daughter of a guard reported seeing two boys sitting on her bed, but when her parents arrived, they had disappeared, leaving the room eerily cold. Even after more than 500 years, the fate of the two princes remains a mystery. Their spirits are believed to still wander the Tower of London, searching for justice for their tragic deaths. Story 3: The Mysteries of the Northumberland Family. One of the most famous ghosts of the Tower of London is Henry Percy, the 8th Earl of Northumberland, who was imprisoned and mysteriously died within the tower. He was once a powerful nobleman, serving under Queen Elizabeth I and fighting against the rebels in Scotland in 1560. Initially, he was favored by the Queen, who promised to reward him for his loyalty. However, he made a grave mistake by switching allegiances and participating in a plot to overthrow Elizabeth I, intending to place Mary, Queen of Scots, on the throne with the support of European Catholic forces. For his treason, Henry Percy was arrested in December 1584 and imprisoned in Martin Tower, one of the key areas of the Tower of London. He frequently walked along the paths near the tower, leading to the area being named Northumberland Walk. In June 1585, he was found dead in his cell with a bullet wound through his heart. Although the official ruling was suicide, many suspected he had actually been assassinated on the orders of Sir Christopher Hatton, one of the judges who sentenced Mary, Queen of Scots, and a key figure in the movement to eliminate Percy. After Percy's death, reports of his ghostly apparition, alongside that of his son, the 9th Earl of Northumberland, became frequent around Martin Tower. This was particularly significant because his son was also imprisoned in the tower after being implicated in the gunpowder plot of 1605, a conspiracy to overthrow King James I. Guards have repeatedly reported sightings of shadowy figures roaming the pathways around Martin Tower at night. Some were so terrified that they refused to patrol alone, forcing authorities to mandate that guards walk in pairs. Sir George Younghusband, the keeper of the crown jewels from 1917 to 1944, had to introduce special measures to reassure the guards due to the overwhelming number of paranormal incidents. To this day, ghostly encounters in the Tower of London continue. Many guards claim to have heard heavy footsteps echoing along the stone walls, despite no one being there. These chilling occurrences have cemented Martin Tower as one of the most haunted locations in the Tower of London. Story 4: Traitor's Gate and the Ghost of Thomas Becket. One of the most famous areas of the Tower of London is Water Lane, home to the Traitor's Gate, a waterway entrance. Many prisoners accused of treason were brought here by boat to await trial. As these boats approached the gate, they often passed under London Bridge, where the severed heads of executed traitors were gruesomely displayed on wooden spikes. Stepping through the heavy gate was often the last time these prisoners saw the outside world. Throughout history, many notable figures were imprisoned and later executed after passing through this gate. However, One of the first recorded ghosts of the Tower of London was not a prisoner, but Thomas Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was murdered in 1170. Becket was once a close friend of King Henry II, but their relationship soured due to disputes over the power of the church. On December 29, 1170, 4 knights, believing they were carrying out the king's wishes, stormed Canterbury Cathedral and brutally killed Becket. After his death, Becket was canonized and became one of England's most famous martyrs. However, his spirit was said to continue appearing at the Tower of London, particularly during its expansion under King Henry III. In 1240, when St. Thomas's Tower, located directly above Traitor's Gate, was nearly completed, a strange phenomenon occurred. On St. George's Day, an apparition dressed in clerical robes appeared. Immediately after, the building's foundations shook violently and collapsed, as if struck by an earthquake. A year later, in 1241, as construction resumed, the ghost appeared again on St. George's Day, and the same thing happened. The structure crumbled once more. A priest who was present at the scene witnessed a solemn-faced figure dressed as a clergyman approach Traitor's Gate and strike the tower walls with a cross. At that moment, the walls collapsed. A nearby guard, also witnessing the event, identified the ghost as St. Thomas Becket. It was believed that Becket's ghost was protesting the heavy taxes imposed on the people of London to finance the construction of the tower. In an attempt to appease his spirit, King Henry III named the tower after Becket and built a chapel within its walls. After that, Becket's ghost was never seen again. Whether these ghostly tales are true or not, the Tower of London remains a fascinating destination, attracting millions of visitors each year. If you ever get the chance to visit, listen closely. You might just feel the echoes of the past lingering in its darkened corridors. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more mysterious stories.